There will always be in our hearts the ongoing struggle of our desires and attentions between the things of the world and the things of God. And this dynamic, of course, is demonstrated at the heart of our gospel today. The religious leaders have turned from the ways of God, and they have pursued their own distorted, selfish views, and they're trying to trip or entrap the Lord. They ask him, is it lawful to pay the census tax? They think they have him cornered, because if he says yes, then he violates the Jewish teaching that opposes the Roman government. And if he says no, he'll be committing a crime, and he'll be subject to arrest. But of course, Jesus knows their duplicity. He asks to see the coin whose image is on it. And they say, Caesar. He responds with those famous words that all of us have heard so often. Repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. Now we're talking about this concept of belonging, this profound reality. He calls them to reflect upon the essence and the origin of things, because to belong to someone looks to one's cause and origin, where we come from, to whom we owe our existence. What belongs to God? Of course, the answer is everything. He is the origin of all things. Everything you and I have, everything you and I could ever or will ever have, is his gift to us. He has given us every talent or skill that we have to do anything. And so all the economic wealth that flows from those abilities comes from him. All of our loves, all of our longings have been placed in our heart by his. He is the creator of the universe, and he manages and guides and sustains all things at all times in human history. And we have to know that. It's the insight of our first reading. We're in the book of Isaiah, that part that's believed to be a second separate book after the destruction of Jerusalem in 587, and the people have been sent into exile. And so their entire existence as a people has been threatened. But then the Persian army, led by their leader Cyrus, conquers the Babylonians and allows the chosen people to return to the promised land, so that that temple, that sign of God's covenant with them, can be rebuilt. And so the sacred writer wants us to know these events do not just happen by chance. All that occurs is through the divine providence and will of God. And we have to be careful. God doesn't have us all on puppet strings and controlling everything that we do. He has given us free will, but he has not given us control. He is the one who keeps the earth spinning on its axis and revolving around the sun. He's the one who sustains every beat of our human heart. But he acts in and through our choices to guide and manage all things. And so even in the actions of the pagan leader Cyrus, God is the one who has restored his people to that promised land. And so when we recognize this truth of God's ever-present action in our lives, we can clearly see then what we are to repay to him. Justice requires that we give him honor and praise and thanksgiving for all that he has done for us. Wisdom prompts us to acknowledge his perfect plan in all things and to trust in that plan. And prudence tells us that he knows far better than we what is best for us. And so he guides us as how we are to direct our lives. What then belongs to Caesar? We know we live in a world where civil societies and governments exist. We're called to be good and contributing members of society, but we do not belong here. We are just passing through to our real home and our eternal destiny. And so we recognize the roles of civil governments the responsibilities for prudent economic activity. But we have to be careful not to place our trust or our hope ever in these things. Economic systems will fail. Governments will prescribe or promote things directly against the will of God. Situations will arise and we'll be forced to choose, perhaps. Will we follow what a government tells us? Or will we follow the Lord? Will we allow our well-being to be dependent upon what is going on in our world? Or will we allow it to be dependent upon what is promised to us who are faithful in the world to come? All things, even nations and governments as strong as Caesar's, have come and gone. But if we place our hope and our trust in Christ, He will not, and He can never disappoint us. Repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. May we always remember to whom everything belongs. May we live our lives repaying to Him what is His due in adoration and praise and thanksgiving. May we endure those ups and downs in our lives, in whatever manifestations they will come, by the power and strength of His grace. And may we then grow in that security and confidence that can never be found in any government or economic or social system, but only the treasure that is our faith, a treasure that is not of this world, that is meant to then lead us to a world of never-ending life and joy and peace in Christ.